prophecy of the two witnesses in Revelation 11 has been among the most daunting for biblical scholars who have vacillated between representing this account as history or as prophecy. It is quite evident that Revelation 11 is eschatological. Therefore, this persistent wavering among so-called theologians is caused by their unwillingness to accept the reality that the enslaved black people in the Western Hemisphere are the chosen people of Almighty Allah, characterized in the Bible and Quran canons as Israel and the children of Israel. This gross misrepresentation of the scriptures by theologians, combined with their obvious fickleness, epitomizes what is written in the New Testament, in the Epistle of James, quote, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways," end quote. Unfortunately, billions of people ascribe to baffling religious doctrines that set no real expectations for the establishment of Almighty Allah's kingdom of earth. According to Revelation 11, the two witnesses appear in the last days to destroy the world and people of Satan who enslaved Almighty Allah's chosen people, while redeeming his people in order to establish through them his eternal kingdom of peace. This is affirmed through the Bible and Quran canons. In Psalm 89, it states, quote, "I have made a covenant with my chosen, I have sworn unto David my servant, thy seed will I establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations. Selah," end quote. This prophecy, no doubt, has never occurred until this time. The fulfillment of this prophecy is substantiated through the prolific ministries of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and Karriem Allah, who fulfill key functions in Revelation 11. In part 1 of this series of the prophecy of the two witnesses in Revelation 11, the premise for an effective fundamental approach to understanding the Messianic prophecies was presented. Here, part 2 briefly describes the fulfillment of verse 1, which sets the basis for understanding this entire prophecy. According to the Messianic prophecies, the arrival of the two Messiahs occurs before the end of the 70-year grace period mentioned in the Daniel 9 prophecy. This is alluded to in verse 2, but requires explanation to make it understandable to those who have the mental acumen, patience, humility, and desire to know the aim of Almighty Allah at this present time. However, verse 2 is explained in part 3 of this montage series. As mentioned in part 1 of this series, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mr. Yaqub, the maker of the brown, yellow, and white races, was given a vision about how his world, the world of Satan, ends. In Revelation 11, he is both the narrator as well as a central actor. This is established in verse 1, where it states, quote, "And there was given me a reed, like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein," end quote. In fulfillment, this verse refers to the Messianic commission and ministry of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, born of his appointment by Almighty Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. Hence, Mr. Yaqub is standing in the place of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, describing his interaction with and relationship to Master Fard Muhammad. As such, in verse 1, it is necessary to define the following phrases. Reed like unto a rod, the angel, measure the temple of God and the altar, and them that worship therein. A reed is a small piece of cane or metal inserted into the mouthpiece of a woodwind instrument, such as a clarinet. The reed vibrates when blowing the instrument, causing it to vibrate, which produces the sound. As such, reed symbolizes the divine message of guidance and warning given to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to deliver to his people and to the Caucasian people, respectively. This reed is like unto a rod, because although it does not invoke Almighty Allah's cataclysmic wrath, it does solicit His chastisement as an accompaniment to the divine message. This is Almighty Allah's pattern according to the Messianic prophecies. In Surah 6 of the Quran canon, it states, quote, "And indeed, we sent messengers to nations before thee. Then we seized them with distress and affliction that they might humble themselves." End quote. This serves as a sign that Almighty Allah is present and that He has, indeed, sent His divine messenger to guide and warn the people. Unfortunately, the wicked leaders of the people have misrepresented these unusual weather events as something else, passed off as Mother Nature or climate change. This devious tactic is keeping the people oblivious to Almighty Allah's intensifying anger, thereby positioning billions of people for complete annihilation. According to Surah 34 of the Quran canon, this too is prophesied. It states, quote, "And those who were deemed weak say to those who were proud, Nay, it was your planning by night and day when you told us to disbelieve in Allah and to set up likes with Him, and they will manifest regret when they see the wrath." End quote. Let us now consider this angel, mentioned in verse 1 of Revelation 11, "And the angel stood, saying, Rise, who is this angel?" Again, in fulfillment, this refers to Master Fard Muhammad. How so? According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he first met Master Fard Muhammad in September 1931, he recognized him as the fulfiller of the biblical prophecies related to the coming of Almighty Allah in the last days, and stated this to him. Master Fard Muhammad affirmed that this was true, and in later discourses between them went further into his identity. However, he forbade the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from making this truth known to the public while he was among the people. There were reasons for this, the primary one being that Master Fard Muhammad would have been compelled to prematurely execute his divine destruction of humanity if his identity was made known, even if the people did not believe him to be the Almighty Allah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad declared that this act fulfilled the prophecy in the book of Habakkuk, where it states, quote, "God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of His praise, and His brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of His hand, and there was the hiding of His power." End quote. As such, Master Fard Muhammad took the form of a prophet or messenger, thereby hiding his identity and power. In Surah 22, it states, quote, "Allah chooses messengers from angels and from men, for Allah is He who hears and sees all things." End quote. In this way, Master Fard Muhammad was able to teach and later commission the Honorable Elijah Muhammad during his absence, in fulfillment of the prophecy described in Surah 3, where it states, in part, quote, "And Allah will teach him, Messiah, the book and wisdom, the Torah and the gospel, and appoint him a messenger to the children of Israel." End quote. Here, it is prudent to mention that messenger, in verse 49, encapsulates all the messianic narratives relating to all the divine messengers and prophets sent to the children of Israel, in fulfillment of the Messiah's prophesied statement in the book of Psalms, quote, "Then said I, Messiah, lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me." End quote. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad began making known the identity of Master Fard Muhammad as the Almighty Allah, in the context of his mission as the Messiah, and in fulfillment of the biblical and Quranic prophecies related to Moses in particular. In the book of Exodus, it states, quote, "And God said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt." End quote. In the Quran canon, it states, quote, "And when thy Lord called Moses, saying, Go to the iniquitous people, the people of Pharaoh, will they not guard against evil? Then come to Pharaoh, and say, We are bearers of a message of the Lord of the worlds. Send with us the children of Israel." End quote. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad states, regarding his mission, quote, "There is no plainer truth that could ever come to both white and black than what Allah, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, has delivered to me, whom he chose to deliver this message of truth." End quote. Further expounding of his messianic mission, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated, quote, "Allah came to us from the holy city Mecca, Arabia in 1930. He used the name Wallace D. Fard, often signing it W.D. Fard. He came alone. He began teaching us the knowledge of ourselves, of God, and the devil." End quote. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad states, quote, "Let it be remembered that Allah, God, came forth for the redemption, to deliver the American black people from their tormentors. Whether we like it or not, He will do this. This is the work of Allah, God, which is in effect." End quote. This bears on the next allegory in Revelation 11 that requires explanation. That is, what is meant by "measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein." This, generally, refers to the spiritual, moral, and mental development of the enslaved black people of the Western Hemisphere. This essential development defines what is meant by resurrection and redemption. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad states regarding this objective, quote, "He, Master Fard Muhammad, declared that we were without the knowledge of self or anyone else, how we had been made blind, deaf and dumb by this white race of people, and how we must return to our people, our God, and His religion of peace, Islam, the religion of the prophets. We must give up the slave names of our slave masters and accept the name of Allah, God, or one of His divine attributes. He also taught us to give up all evil doings and practices." End quote. No doubt, the resurrection process of the black people of the Western Hemisphere remains underway, but it is expected to accelerate once the power and influence of the United States government and Caucasian people are completely destroyed, which is prophesied to be accomplished within the next 3 years. The two witnesses, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and Karriem Allah, are responsible for executing this colossal and final destruction of the world of the Caucasian people, in accordance with the fulfillment of the Messianic prophecies.